I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Culpy and Chip and Ghosty. Culpy's dead, but...
Culpy is currently KIA. Inshallah, we can find some way to revive him.
Yep.
For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori.
Yeah, you can. Also, if you check the link below, also in the description and below this video, you will see link to our merch if you're interested in any of that. There's a Sori Secret shirt, there's Middle America gear, there's all kinds of stuff. So check that out. That's a great way to partner with us and also wear these awesome shirts. And if you send us a picture with any of our gear, we'll add you into our video.
It's true. With your consent, of course.
Of course.
Dear listener. So yeah, this is Avenged Sevenfold.
Avenged Sevenfold. We haven't done them in a long time.
Avenged Sevenfold, I have to say, is really one of the main bands that helped launch our channel.
Yes, it's so true.
There was a time period where we were doing an Avenged Sevenfold song like 4 or 5 times a week because we didn't really understand how things worked.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you do an Avenged Sevenfold song, it's going to attract Avenged Sevenfold fans, and then those guys are going to say, do another Avenged Sevenfold song.
Right.
So we're like, oh, they want us to do another, and then it was like,
there are other people.
Yeah.
On the
So
channel.
we actually got away from them, but they actually are like one of the bands that started this entire channel.
Yep.
If you go back and look, their fans were more crazy than Slipknot fans as far as asking for stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it's true.
I think it's because Slipknot, everybody does Slipknot reactions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Tool fans asked for a lot too.
Yes.
But Avenged...
Tool was also, I think, one of the bands that really established the channel.
For sure.
For sure. But Avenged Sevenfold, definitely.
Today we're going to do Hail to the King.
Hail to the King.
So
this has got to be about Jesus.
Really?
I'm just messing with you. The name of the record is Hail to the King. Anytime I say that, I'm talking about Jesus for sure.
Right.
Okay. Also, if you are a patron and you're a Slipknot fan, speaking of Slipknot, we're doing a Slipknot live listen session, and we're also going to be dropping some Easter eggs in the Slipknot review. So if you're a patron and you're able to put those together, you may be able to win some very, very exclusive merch. And when I say exclusive, it is exclusive.
That is exciting for you, and also exciting for me because I didn't know we were doing a Slipknot live listen. So
I just told you that, like, literally.
I thought you were talking about the other live listen that we've been talking about doing, so...
There's lots of live listens coming up. All right, Hail to the King of Avenged Sevenfold. Let's do it.
And go.
Riding up off the brook. that's a good song. Mm-hmm. It's a good song. Shout out to the big homie, Ragnar Lothbrok. Rest in peace, big homie.
I will never forgive you for marrying that other woman and letting Lagatha go off.
Stop giving out spoilers. I gave out the ultimate one. I'm sitting there yelling at you.
That's true!
Well, Ragnar's a historical figure.
That's what I thought actually.
So he must have been dead in 2019, obviously. Yeah, the singer for this band is basically like, why do we always have to have a king or somebody to rule us or whatever? Mm-hmm. You know, which actually, it's so funny. In all my discussions with Zonia and BM Fan about anarchism, I'm pretty sure God's original design in the Old Testament was a form of anarchism.
Oh, really?
Well, he didn't want them to have a king.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
They wanted a king, and he said, no, you don't need a king.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll just rule you directly. You'll be fine. Mm-hmm. So was it theocratic anarchism, I guess. So Zonia, BM Fam, you guys are late. You should have been reading your Bible. You would have seen. It's true. As a matter of fact, the installation of the king originally was an act of God's judgment. The scripture says he gave them a king in his anger.
That's true.
So actually, the reception of the king in the Old Testament economy is actually looked upon as a punishment from God. The people said, we want a king like all the nations around us. Mm-hmm. And so God said, nah, you don't need to do that, fam. We're good. Just kind of... And they're like, nah, fam, we need kings. So he's like, all right, fine. Be that way. You're dumb. And it's funny because the prophet basically said, okay, if you have a king, he's going to take your young men. He's going to force them to go to war. He's going to hike up your taxes. He's going to create all these building funds and shit that you're going to have to... He's going to take all your best looking girls and he's going to make them dance in his little thingamajiggies and da-da-da-da-da. It's going to suck. You're going to hate it. They're like, yeah, that's cool. Give us a king. Mm-hmm. It's a human impulse that we want somebody to lead us. And it is a very, very interesting dynamic. I actually tried to hang out in like a leaderless church context.
Yes.
I tried to have it be leaderless, and then people couldn't function that way. So they had to crown. They had to make somebody the king.
Yep.
Know? And then it's funny because people crave that. They want somebody to lead them.
But then they resent the leader.
But then they resent you. It's like, well, you idiots, I tried to not have it that way. I tried to be a regular guy. You guys couldn't have... No. Then they start having to, put a title to you. It's like, why do you need that title, man? Can we just chill? Like, let's just make these sandwiches and love our neighbor. Why do we have to...
It was cute, though. The title I thought was so cute.
Well, when the gutter... down in the gutter people called me stuff, I was fine with it because it was like this is our thing. Yeah. We finally have something. Let the bourgeoisie, let the people up in Valhalla have their thing. We got a thing here. And so when they said it, I was fine. But the other people, I was like, So I had to get out of that situation. And I'm very thankful. Thank you very much, Nana, you bitch.
Babe, I can't believe you said... Yes! Shout out to the big old me.
Thank you so much, my guy. You're a bitch. You're going to live and die a bitch, but I love you. Because there's no...
increase the quality of our lives
exponentially. Thank you.
People are like, what are they talking about? If only you could look into our situation.
My mom read me this story about Burr Rabbit and the Briar Patch.
Yes.
And he loved the Briar Patch.
Yes.
So he's like, don't throw me into the Briar Patch. Don't throw me into the Briar Patch. And that's exactly where he wanted to be. So fuck you, Maddie, but thank you for throwing me into the Briar Patch. If I see you, and don't say nothing reckless to my girl either. I'll smack the shit out of you. Okay.
I'll do it too.
I will. Okay.
Plus, I arm wrestled you. I can do it.
That's it. That's the thing. I don't even need to. You can see.
I did. I beat the guy in an arm wrestling match.
He was trying his hardest too.
And I I let it stay there for a little bit longer than I need to because I just felt bad for him.
Well, that shit was on video, fam. I love it. I love white people. Okay.
I wish I knew where that was because I could blur him and put that out there. Our patrons would love that. Do you know where it is?
I think I know where it is.
Okay, that might be coming on Patreon. Just be on the
We're
lookout.
gonna have to black that shit.
I will. I'll blur him out. I can blur him out
Gotta let the man have
easily.
some dignity. Astaghfirullah.
I'll do that.
Okay. Watch your tongue or have it cut from your head. Save your life by keeping whispers unsaid. Yeah, so it just seems to me about like, you know, the love-hate relationship we have with. Mm-hmm. I think everybody realizes that we need some sort of organizing principle. Mm-hmm. And so the king or the leader at some point or another is the embodiment of that organized principle. I think one of the things that human beings fear more than anything is chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos scares people because it creates more unknowns. Mm-hmm. So the more chaos you have, the more unknowns there are behind it. And the more order you have, then the more things that you know. Mm-hmm. So I think that people are scared to death of the idea of any form of self-governance or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, which might kind of bleed into what you were saying, is if you are self-governing yourself and you make a bad decision, you have no one else to blame but yourself.
Seduct.
So if you have a leader and he tells you to do something, you're like, I was just doing what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, I was just doing what I was told.
This happened to me. You know what I mean?
Trial. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, during the Nuremberg Trial, they were like, I was just following orders.
Yep.
Just following orders.
Yep.
And it siphons away responsibility.
Right.
Whereas if everybody's on equal footing, if you screw up, then you did that shit.
That's you.
And
You're in the
nobody to
situation
blame.
you're in because of you.
The economy's bad, it's your fault too.
Yeah.
You know, but now it's like, oh, we want to blame the president. And I always say, whether it's Hitler or Trump or Clinton or Bernie, look, they're only one person, or they're only one woman. They're one woman and one man. Like, one woman and one man cannot destroy a country without cooperation.
Right.
You know, that's this whole thing. That's why I talk a lot to Christians about, like, disarming and not taking part in war and things like that, because I don't believe that Christians should, you know, take part in that. And one of the main reasons is that stuff right there. It's like, when you do that, when you put yourself in those organizations, then you have to do certain things in order to follow orders. And if you're not prepared to do those things, then you shouldn't join those things, you know? So it's like, yeah, and it's like, hail to the one, you know, so we've got this it's a very interesting thing to be a human being, because on the one hand, you're like, you crave that leadership, but then on the other hand, you've got this rebellion against authority. Mm-hmm. That everybody has, and it's kind of, and you know, it's kind of like you know, during the Slipknot show, you know, like when they did Spit It Out, and everybody was, you know, Corey's like, everybody needs to fucking get on there, you know, and Corey was doing it too, everybody was doing it, and you're like, nope, I'm not doing that shit. Mm-hmm. But he had 17,899 other people that were willing to do that shit. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's like, so it's this weird thing where, like, it's about rebellion, fuck it all, fuck this world, I'm not gonna conform, but then at the same time, you're doing what 17,000 other people doing at the same time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's very, very interesting. Nobody sees the inherent contradictions that is being human. Mm-hmm. You know, on the one hand, everybody wants to style themselves as a nonconformist, but all the nonconformists look the same.
Right.
Like, we had a punk crew in high school, and they all had anarchy patches. They all wore vests, and they all had the same. They all looked the same.
Yep.
And I'm not dissing anarchists at all, because like what I'm saying is I think probably from a New Testament from a like Genesis perspective, because one of the theories that we're throwing around in the Bible boogie is that the term abomination is any way of living that's outside of God's original design.
Yep.
And
I actually liked that definition. I was like, well, that's good.
So, you know, Psalms 8 says that he crowned us with glory and honor, that mankind, male and female, are crowned with glory and honor. So everybody's a king and a queen. Well, then if that's the case, then nobody is like the domineering ruler that everybody has to pay obeisance to. And then you look at it after they get out of the garden, it's still that way. And you don't really find the first person that really emerges as like a leader that leads a group of people is Nimrod. And Nimrod is usually looked upon as a bad figure in Christian theology. There's actually a connection between Nimrod and Orion, which I will teach him that at some point later on in the future. But because Orion is the great hunter and Nimrod is the hunter, and you know, Sumerian, blah 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 blah. We'll talk about that later. But so Nimrod is kind of like the first guy that emerges as a leader of people, a leader of men, and he's bad. And a similar thing is alluded to in Genesis 6 when it's talking about these are the heroes of old, the giants, and they're called the Nephilim, the fallen ones. They're looked upon as bad.
Right.
So Genesis kind of hints like these people that have all these people following them and people just obey what they say, like this is not a good thing because you are not supposed to have this type of relationship. You're supposed to have this type of relationship.
Right.
And
well, I mean, that's what I was thinking too, is that when we were originally created, we were created to rule the world, but obviously God was our creator, so he was above us, and so we were supposed to be under his jurisdiction.
The
and
only
his
person
rule.
we were supposed to report to was God.
Right. But now everything's all confused. We're reporting to this person, you know what I mean? Like.
Right. And as we've said over and over again, this is a running discussion Ian and I have, where God tries to give us freedom and we can't handle it. Like we almost force God and demand God to give us laws, and so then it's like God's like, all right, you don't want to rule the world as equals and report only to me. Fine, I'll give you a proxy. Here's a king. And he does it in his anger. And of course, the amazing part of the Christian story is that God solves the problem by incarnating as Jesus.
Yeah.
So then we have a human leader to follow who at the same time is still the God that we should report to. Perfect position, perfect solution to the problem. All those stupid good herders from the Bronze Age, what do they know about it? Illiterate dummies. I think the Bible's a little bit more complex than you think, my guy. But yeah, so it's just a very, very interesting thought. That you know, God wanted Adam and his sons to report only to him, but to rule the world together as equals. And then we couldn't do it. We had to have somebody like us. You know, this invisible God stuff. Forget that. And so then God's like, all right, take a human king and have a couple millennia of cycling through and seeing that all these human kings suck because they all have a flaw. Like the greatest king in the Bible is David, and he had a horrible flaw. Terrible. And it's people don't understand the divine strategy. The divine strategy is it constantly sets up the heroes and then watches them crash and burn. And there's only one hero that never crashes and burns, that's Jesus. But that's a code. The code is, hey, this is a reason I didn't want you to have a king, because the best one that you're gonna have at a human level is gonna, you know, steal women, you know, sexually assault them, and then kill their husbands. And you know, if you want to say it's not sexual assault, I disagree with you because of the power imbalance between David and Bathsheba. But that's a completely separate story. But my point is, he's not portrayed, especially the second half of his life, he's not portrayed as this like, yay, let's repeat this. The best that we have is, you know, it's like Gordon Ramsay says, you're the best of the worst. You know, and I think it's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant strategy because all these guys have flaws. Even Ragnar, like we love Ragnar, we celebrate him, we love his attitude, but he was flawed. Obviously flawed. You know.
Oh yeah.
And so, you know, and it's that's why the Nazi stuff really, really fascinates me, because of the way that human beings. It doesn't take human beings very much to be convinced by a charismatic leader to do crazy shit.
Yep.
It really, really doesn't. And there's a couple people that understand that.
Yeah.
And once you come to that realization about that power, it's a very, very scary thing. And that's one of the reasons why when I'm in conflicts with people on a public level, like, you know what I'm talking about, like, I don't exercise any of that prerogative. You know, I would much rather lose in public than beat these people. Because I know what I can do.
Yeah, oh, I know, babe.
You know, somebody's like, Vin is dangerous. You motherfucking right. It's true, I am. But I'm at the same time like, you know, I'm not gonna go out and use that influence to crush my opposition for what purpose? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like it's not something that you should do. But unless you're one of those people, you have no idea. I've only met, there's a very, very handful of people. You're like that. DB is like that. Me and Zoe in my life, you know, like, and then there was another guy that I was with a crew of those guys. You get a crew of people like that together, good night. And it's not an arrogance thing. It's just a fact of life. Like everywhere I've gone, I get pushed into those situations, even though I hate being in those situations most of the time. But it's just human nature. You know, it's human nature to do that because we want some sort of organizing principle, and we would rather have blood than chaos.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy. There's a taste of fear, hail, hail, when the henchmen call. Iron fist to tame them, iron fist to claim it all. I wonder, like, I wish I could get a couple of these people in a room together and say, what was the moment when you realized that people would follow you?
Yeah.
Like over a mountain. When did you realize that? Tom Brady's like that.
Yep.
Tom Brady's like, you know, he's like a leader of men. Like he's a man that then say, all right, I'd roll with that guy. And it's very hard to do that with people. And I just like to get him in a room and be like, yo, when did you realize it? What age were you?
How old were you?
It was high school.
Yeah, that's
it
what
was
I was
high
thinking.
school.
When all those people just kind of...
Yeah, it was high school where I was like, this is real dangerous shit we're about to do. Like, and these people are like, all right, Vin, you know, what are we doing? Who's bringing what? Da-da-da-da.
Wow.
How are we getting this? You know, and I'm like, yo, these people, because I have a problem with this guy. People are willing to go and, you know, do a whole bunch of really terrible shit right now. And so it was a pretty crazy moment, but at the time I didn't have a lot of time to reflect on it because, you know, I wanted to get home alive, you know, but that, it was high school. It really was high school where I was like, whoa, whoa, like this is crazy. And then what I tried to do, especially when I got like into the Christian world, I tried to stifle it, you know, because I didn't want.
I know.
I tried very, even the first time I met you, like I just tried to like, didn't say much.
You didn't.
And I
think
tried.
back to that, and it's so strange to me.
What's strange to you?
I just picture you in the room, and you were so quiet. You never said a word.
I was very quiet. I tried to be as quiet as possible, and then it just, you know.
Then when you started talking, I'm like, what? How do you know this much stuff?
You're black.
Exactly. So you must be poor.
Shout out to the big homie Bite. What's good, buddy? hey, text Joe
303.
330. Yeah. Then I got to the Christian world. Oh my gosh, forget about it.
Oh yeah.
It was just yuck. But
sorry, babe.
I feel good now. You know, I've got a balance of it now. It's just
I think you're much more balanced now.
You just gotta figure it out. You know, you gotta figure out like when to turn it on and when to turn it off, and you know, to use your powers for good. And you know, but then there's people that genuinely fear you. You know, like we're going to that thing of like, Vin is dangerous. Like they fear that shit, but it's also the thing that they crave, but they fear at the same time. It's a very strange position to be in, you know, like because you're not genuinely loved by people. You know, you're this thing where people want to be close to you, but they're not close to you for you. They just want to be part of your influence in your cabinet, and your good words to them validates them, and da 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 da. So, and a lot of people get caught up in that. They really think that people love them. They really do. These leaders, they really think that people the stuff that people are saying to them is real. They don't realize that.
In the moment, what they said to you was real, but you know what I mean? Like, for them, like, they believed it when they said it, but it didn't go that deep.
Yeah, they don't realize how people are.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jesus. It says, like, many people were coming to seek him, but he didn't trust himself to them because he knew it was in man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, when you're one of those types of leaders, you just can't entrust yourself to people.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of, you cannot ingest all that they're feeding you. Because number one, half of it is untrue. They think that you're better than you are. So that's number one. And number two is, they'll flip on you in a second if there's another situation that's going to put them in a better situation. Or if you're no longer going to be their guy, their king, they'll flip on you in a second. So you just have to understand that. And you can't take it personally. That's the other thing, is like, people take that stuff so, I did this for this person, I led them, blah, blah, blah. They'd call me at 3 or 4 in the morning, I was talking to them, and they, like, you can't be mad at them for that.
Right.
Like, they're,
Right.
I hate to say it, 99% of people are sheep, man, so you can't be mad at them for it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're gonna flip on you, man. They will, but then you're gonna have your true cult people who are gonna roll with you no matter what, and those are your friends. Mm-hmm. And if you're blessed to have a conflict where those things get decided early enough in life, then you'll be a much wiser person for it. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about it anyway. What do you give the song?
9.
A 9. It's a 9.5 for me. I really enjoyed it. I also enjoyed the chorus. All right, what do you give the song?
I give it a 9.
9.5. I liked it. Vin out.
Sori out.
Down.
Watch your tongue,